It was an ordinary morning in a small diner on the edge of town, the kind of place where the coffee was strong and everyone knew each other's names. Former soldier Jack Turner sat quietly in a corner booth with his daughter Lily, a 7-year-old with golden curls and eyes too wise for her age. They were traveling across states, chasing work and peace after years of battles. Some fought in the desert, others in his own mind. Jack had learned to keep his head down, to stay out of trouble. But fate had other plans that morning. As they finished their breakfast, Lily's soft voice broke the calm. "Daddy," she said, tugging on his sleeve, "we have to help her." Jack followed her gaze and saw a waitress, young, wearing a worn blue uniform, being grabbed roughly by 2 men in suits. Their voices were harsh, their faces cold. The woman's eyes filled with fear as she tried to pull away, whispering something about not having the money yet. Jack's instincts flared immediately. His soldier's mind told him to stay out of it. It wasn't his fight. But his daughter's tiny hand tightened around his. "Please, Daddy," she whispered. "She's scared." That was all it took. Jack stood up slowly, his tall frame casting a shadow across the diner floor. The room fell silent. The 2 men turned to look at him, irritation flickering in their eyes. "Sir, this doesn't concern you," one of them snapped. Jack's calm voice carried a quiet authority that made even the loudest man listen. "It does now," he said. "Let her go." The men laughed, thinking he was just another customer trying to play hero. One of them stepped closer, sneering. "You really want to get involved in this?" "You don't know who you're dealing with." Jack's jaw tightened. "You don't know who you're dealing with," he replied, his voice low but steady. The waitress's eyes widened. She could tell from his stance. This man was trained, disciplined, and dangerous if he needed to be. When one of the men shoved her again, Jack moved faster than anyone could react. With a single swift motion, he grabbed the man's wrist, twisting it until the guy cried out and dropped his grip. The second man lunged, but Jack sidestepped, pushing him back just enough to make a point. "You're done here," Jack said, his voice calm but deadly serious. "If I see you near her again, you'll answer to me." The entire diner froze. Even the sound of the coffee machine seemed to stop. The 2 men exchanged nervous glances, realizing this was not a fight they could win. Without another word, they turned and stormed out, muttering threats under their breath. The waitress sank against the counter, trembling. "Thank you," she whispered. "You didn't have to do that," Jack nodded. "Yes, I did," he said simply. Lily ran up to her and handed her teddy bear for comfort. "He always helps people," she said proudly. The woman smiled through tears, hugging Lily tightly. "Your daddy's a hero," she said softly, but Jack shook his head. "I'm no hero, just a man trying to do what's right." Later, as they stepped outside, Lily looked up at her father and asked, "Daddy, why did those men hurt her?" Jack sighed, looking out at the open road. "Sometimes people forget what kindness means, sweetheart. That's why it's important that we don't." Lily nodded and held his hand tighter. "I'm glad you're my daddy," she said. Jack smiled faintly, brushing her hair back. "I'm glad you reminded me who I'm supposed to be," he replied. That night, the story of the mystery man in the diner spread across town. People whispered about how one quiet father had stood up against injustice when everyone else stayed silent. The waitress, whose name was Emily, got her job back, and with Jack's help she was able to free herself from the men who had been threatening her. Jack didn't ask for thanks or attention. He just wanted to make sure Lily saw that courage wasn't about medals or uniforms. It was about compassion and doing what's right, even when it's hard. As they drove away the next morning, Lily looked out the window, waving goodbye to Emily, who smiled and held the teddy bear she'd given back after mending it. Jack turned on the radio, and a soft country song filled the car. "Daddy," Lily asked again. "Yeah, baby," he said. "Do you think people will remember what you did?" Jack chuckled. "Maybe not. But if it helps even one person do the right thing next time, that's enough for me." Sometimes heroes don't wear capes. They wear worn-out boots, carry invisible scars, and are led by the pure heart of a child who still believes in kindness. Jack may have left the battlefield long ago, but that day in the diner proved something. Courage never retires.